My name is John McKeon, and I'm the moderator for the Teradata Aprimo River community, Teradata and Aprimo's largest customer community. You can connect with us at teradataRiver2.com. Today we'll be talking with Phil Koss, Director, Enterprise Analytics for Cabelas. Everybody knows Cabelas, or most people know Cabelas. It's one of the largest direct marketers in the U.S., specializing in hunting, fishing, camping gear. A great store. I think their revenues reached almost $2 billion. Phil, welcome to the River.
Thank you.
Phil will be presenting at this year's Partners Conference, and the title is There's Loyalty, and Then There's Loyalty. Going to be a very interesting topic. Phil, driving behavioral loyalty, and particularly driving it through analytics, what are you guys doing at Cabelas?
I guess we're doing a lot of different things in and around understanding what is driving that customer to make a transaction with Cabelas. And so one of the things, the new and interesting things that we're really looking at is utilizing web browser behavior to understand kind of that psychology behind the transactions. And so when we look at that browser behavior, we can tell what that item is that they first put in their basket that is the real driver for that transaction. And then with some analytic algorithms, we can go through and understand what are those items that have a much higher propensity to drive a transaction. Then when we think about some of the retailing aspects about driving events, etc., we can identify those first-in-basket items and create events around those. And then that helps us not only manage our expected sales, but manage the margins a lot better when we consider the transaction as a whole from a customer standpoint. And then we do analysis in and around the affinity product. So when we have that basket driver X and affinity product Y, we can also manage that whole transaction from a margin perspective by not necessarily being as compellingly priced on that high affinity item. And we're doing that based on how that customer is voting with what's going into that basket.
Phil, what about the first in basket analysis, the customer who puts something in their web basket first? Tell me, why is that significant?
Well, what it allows us to do, if we understand those products, whether they're on event or not on event, but they appear to be the psychological driver of the transaction, and then we can focus on those items with our advertising, it's much more customer-centric, and it moves us away from being just more product-oriented, and it moves you past being that traffic driver or that loss leader type of retailer, and you focus on the loyalty of the customer. The customer says, hey, I can come to Cabelas. They know the products that I need to enjoy the outdoors, and they're going to have those at a reasonable price for me, and then they're also going to make solid recommendations through affinity analysis that says this also goes with this, and they can create that transaction experience for me that I don't receive in other retailers.
Well, Phil, basket analysis, tell me how you actually apply those type of techniques to actually manage your margins.
The concept isn't really that hard, but if I can identify a product that is going to spur a transaction for a customer, it's going to be what they're coming to Cabelas to find, I can entice that customer to enter into that transaction with me without necessarily being as sharp on my price point. And then I use the affinity analysis to say, I also know that product Y is going to sell with product X, and I can manage also the margin of that affinity item so I don't have to have it as compellingly priced, because I know when the customer buys or puts that first item in their basket, they're also going to buy this other item with it. So then I move from managing the margin of items to managing the margin of that transaction at the customer level. And then I'm moving from an attitudinal aspect of loyalty from a customer to the behavioral aspect of loyalty with that customer, because I'm filling the need and I'm creating that experience for them that they may not get at other retailers.
So Phil, but all these customers are multi-channel and you guys are omni-channel, or Cabelas is omni-channel. How are you tracking customers across channels?
We're tracking them through a lot of concerted effort on the organization to understand that total 360-degree view of the customer. The organization has made a lot of investment over the years in tying together that online browser activity to a customer and then connecting those points of transaction, whether it's online or through the call center or at retail, back to the same customer. So I can understand Phil Koss's household's purchase activity. I may have two sons under my roof that are online shoppers, while Phil Koss may be a call center shopper. My wife is also purchasing through retail. We have connected all of those dots through our systems and allow that 360 view of the customer. So again, from a retail perspective, then we're not necessarily concerned about driving transactions through any one given channel for a household. We want to make sure we make it as easy as possible for that customer or that household to transact with us through any channel, and we will try and communicate with that customer in the relevant channels that they want us to communicate with them in.
Phil Koss, Director, Enterprise Analytics at Cabelas. It should be a great presentation entitled There's Loyalty and Then There's Loyalty. Phil, look forward to seeing you at Partners Conference.
All right, thanks. Look forward to being there.